Joe's Vegan Guide.
Frog the fortnight, frog the fortnight, frog the fortnight. It's a bit black mark the week.
Trademark.
Hello, I'm Gemini.
And I'm Miasma.
And together we are the Vegan Queens. With Joss.
She's me mum.
Isn't it nice?
Gorgeous.
Hey, before we get on with the joviality, which will no doubt imbibe
and ensue,
which you will imbibe from today's episode, we would like to dedicate this episode to the memory of the beautiful Caroline Flack.
Indeed.
Who unfortunately recently found the world just a little too unbearable.
Indeed.
And it's a difficult world to live in.
Very difficult world to live in.
Miasma.
Every week this summer.
But please know we've all got each other.
Yeah.
And it's very important for us to talk, to share, to unburden ourselves, and to ask for help when we need it.
Absolutely. May she find peace and a quiet mind, whatever happens after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope so anyway, love.
Anyway, here's to Caroline. Now, let's get on with talking about this bloody horrible world, shall we? Remember last week, Miasma?
I do.
Remember what I said?
You said
what
a lot
did I
of
say
things,
happened with
but
Trump?
You made a prediction, didn't you, love? You were like, Mystic Meg, and you said Trump will go off.
Fully acquitted. Fully acquitted. What I found very interesting, Miasma, was some of the Republican Party members have been tweeting that they've just had a multi-million pound boost for their state.
Shocking. Shocking. Do you know what he's like?
Thanks to Donald, it's like he's saying, cheers for standing by.
Yeah, exactly. Like a mucky shoplifter at the Happy Shopper.
This isn't politics. This is nepotistic business.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Of course it is.
Cronyistic and nepotistic business. Nepotism being when you favour your relatives, cronyism when you favour your friends.
Exactly. He could have been, if we think of Donald Trump as Jack the Ripper, the amount of I know, Jack the Ripper lives in the very heart of you. I don't know. If you think of him as Jack the Ripper.
Is that from the musical?
From the musical Jack the Ripper, yes. Yeah. I know bits. He could have been stood over a dead person with a liver in one hand and a carving knife in the other, and the bleeding them lot over there would have still found him not guilty.
Of course they would.
You know.
Of course they would.
And now he's there.
This is disgusting partisan politics in full fruition.
Exactly.
That's what this is.
And now he's there like an orange Oprah Winfrey, telling people they can have pardons, isn't he?
Well, I'm wondering whether...
You get a pardon.
Because orange jumpsuits are quite the thing in American prisons, aren't they?
That's true.
Is this why all his friends are standing up for him? Does the prison system not want him in there? Because you put an orange suit on him, he's invisible, he's gone.
Exactly. Be like The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells.
Just an orange stick and a blonde mop walking around. Do you know what I mean?
Like a corn dog with pretensions.
You won't see his face no more.
Be like that. You'd be like them ghost videos, wouldn't it?
But you know, it's alright for us to deflect and point over there in America about all the bad stuff what's going on. Let's look here in his own backyard, shall we?
This week we've had, well, what have we had? We've had the new immigration laws introduced by HRH, by which I mean Hellraiser Harlot, Priti Patel.
Tell them a bit about that.
So basically, what's happened is we're moving towards, aren't we, a points-based system for entry into the UK, or even, does it cover settlement as well, people that are already here? Settled status?
Oh, I don't know, you know.
I'd have to look that up. Where basically what Miss Patel, in yet another feat of amazing intelligence, has concluded is that anybody earning under 25k a year can be classed as an unskilled worker. Now, I know what you're thinking, Mum.
I know what you're thinking. You're wondering why I chose her. Go on.
I know what you're thinking. The majority of NHS staff, people who work lower down in the legal profession, university lecturers, for example, who by the way are striking next week, who, you know, Stuart, who we're all very close with. Yes, is one of those. They don't earn 25k a year. Are any of those jobs unskilled, would you say?
Not at all. I think it's actually really pretentious.
I agree.
Because you're basically labelling 85% of the populace as unskilled. Because most people, pretty, don't earn that.
It's an example of that.
Most people don't earn that.
Yeah. In very highly skilled and responsible jobs, education, people who are looking after your babies, they don't earn that.
Do you know, I wonder if anyone's actually admitted to themselves yet that, yeah, I did vote for Brexit and the Conservatives because I'm a bit of a racist.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the thought of foreigners in this country. She's just been let off from BBC, I can't remember her name. Gutra.
I'm
She's
not
called.
sure. I know Victoria Derbyshire is.
When she's a person of colour.
Yes.
When she was reporting on the Brexit
Yes.
she said it was a sea of white.
Yeah.
You know, and there were loads of complaints made, and the BBC have upheld her side and said all she did was say what she saw.
Yeah.
She reported what she saw.
If you go to an art gallery and see a picture, you know them modern art pictures that are all just like blocks of colours?
Yeah.
And there's one that's all green and you say, that's the green canvas. Is that biased reporting or is that reporting what you've just seen?
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know? Anyway, and I would say
this country's got a problem though, and it needs to acknowledge it, and people need to acknowledge it within themselves. You know, what is my problem with people from other places? And do I have a right to feel that way? Would I want them to feel that way against my child if my child moved to their country?
There you go.
And if I wouldn't, what right do I have to feel that way with them coming here? I love immigration. I like a nice big mixing pot, me.
Yeah, I do.
My asthma. All folk, all colours, all creeds.
Yeah.
All bits, you know.
Well, you know, it's just a bit more sort of like, you know that old analogy about you don't own the earth you stand on? You know what I mean? It's like, what makes you think that any of us own any of this? This is just where we happen to be located through the luck of birth.
Try planting a few trees, you know, you'll never sit under.
Exactly.
It's very simple,
You know.
love.
And while we're at it, Pretty Patel, lol. If anyone's unskilled, I suggest it's people pushing bits of nonsense legislation around their desk and then lying about it. So put that in your pipe.
Boris Johnson is a racist.
Of course he is.
He's a racist through and through. It's been
know
said
what I mean?
by a lovely pop star at the Brits recently.
Stormzy, yeah.
No, it weren't him. It was someone else.
Was it not Stormzy?
No, it was someone else.
I'm sure Stormzy thinks it.
I'm sure we should
Yeah.
swat up before we do one of these programmes.
Well, we just get very passionate about the issues, don't we? That's what it is. Sounded like a NutriBullet then.
Scary that, wasn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Other blenders are available.
So yeah, it's not been a good 2 weeks, guys and gals. We've had that bloody floating Petri dish. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? The Diamond Princess, is it called? The cruise ship.
Oh yes, of course.
Where they were all kept on board, and then, you know, a Japanese doctor or a Chinese doctor.
I think a Japanese doctor.
Who's like quite high up in a university, went to the ship and couldn't believe that they didn't have green zones and red zones. He's now isolated himself for 2 weeks.
Yes,
so
that's
that he
right.
doesn't put his family at risk.
Yeah.
Because he said it was a mess on there.
Yeah.
It was all bureaucracy and not medical.
2 British politicians have done that, haven't they, as well? I was reading this week.
Wow.
I heard them on the radio. They were worried they might have been exposed to the virus, so they've secluded themselves from their constituency duties.
Oh wow.
Until further notice. What's interesting though, isn't it, is we were listening to news. Well, I said we were. Paul and Jason and Stuart were listening to the news the other night, and then they told us, because we like to have a get together and a chinwag. And it's about how you report things, in it, and it sort of picks up on your sort of xenophobia, racism that you were talking about as well. It's like on the news, and I get it, because the news is broadcast in this country to people of this country, but they'll say things like, no British tourists were harmed in this, as though it makes it better.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's a terrible thing going off, but don't worry, there's no Brits.
Yeah.
Well, it's humans, right?
I'm really not bothered whether they're from Hastings or Hong Kong. You know, it's quite a disparity there, isn't there?
Care about people.
Yeah.
Just people.
Yeah. You know.
All colours, all creeds, all races, all ages. It's not hard to do.
No, it's not.
You know.
We need to do that, don't we? We need to prioritise the bigger issues rather than getting caught up on silly little petty things.
Yeah.
You know, that are distraction techniques and smoke screens.
Well, I'm hoping,
actually
to be honest, we get to the point where this country wakes up a little bit and demands that Boris Johnson is taken out of office.
Yeah. Arrest him.
Tank top bum boys.
Pickaninnies with watermelon smiles.
These are alright, are they? We've got two blonde, dumb wits in power in two of the most powerful Western countries. Well, no, actually, we were powerful.
Yeah, no, that's the whole problem with Britain, though. We think we're still powerful.
We think we are.
Still playing Billy Big Balls, aren't we? When we've got no pieces on the board.
It's because we used to run around everywhere, didn't we? Sticking us flagging places. Then it's ours now. This.
Yeah, like a cheap rent boy.
Like America.
Like America, yeah.
For a start.
Yeah.
No, because we did there, didn't we?
Yeah.
The whole, you know.
Yeah. And then treated him horribly, made no effort whatsoever, contracted a load of STIs, and then blamed the indigenous people.
Promoted paedophilia.
Yeah.
You do know Pocahontas was 12, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And John was in his 40s, late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, don't care what Disney says. It weren't all talking to grandmas in trees.
Nope.
No.
Sometimes you've got to look just around the Riverbend,
aren't you?
to find the truth.
And paint with all the colours of that wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that song.
I do, it's beautiful. Can you imagine if your wind had colours, though?
It'd be gorgeous.
Well, you know, like flatulence.
I saw
You come out and be like, what she had last night? Oh, it's red, she must have had sarnies.
Did you ever see that programme?
Which one?
About
I'm not going to do it now.
No, I'm just did you ever see that programme about ancient drugs, ancient highs?
No, I don't think so.
And they had some test subjects and they tried all these like different it was very fascinating, and there was an old Egyptian white lily.
Oh.
And they bred it again because it had been used in stuff, and they gave it this guy and he said, I can hear the grass singing
nice,
to me.
That's lovely, that, isn't it? Not that we're promoting anything, we're just saying. This is just exchanging information. I wonder if it still exists or if it was...
Well, they had to breed it from seed, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's just not something that grows wild anymore. Yeah. But it was an Egyptian white water lily. So what else has gone on this last fortnight, my asthma?
Well, just very briefly, and I hope it's not too self-indulgent, I would like to mention, again, talking about smokescreens, the big furore that was what Tracy Brabin, the MP, wore in Parliament. That's why I'm wearing this. I'm not just, brazen and cheap. I'm doing it because she wore a dress.
Hang on, you've just labelled yourself. You've just labelled the outfit brazen and cheap. Said I'm not wearing this because I'm brazen and cheap.
No, but I am. But I am. Well, she's not. She's not. I am brazen.
Well,
and cheap. Well, even if she were, who cares?
An exposed shoulder doth not brazen and cheap display.
Yeah.
It's a shoulder.
Yeah. It's like, there was this big thing, who's this appropriate for Parliament? You know what's not appropriate?
Falling asleep.
Jacob Rees-Mogg falling asleep. And all them hooray Emerys when they're all like, and there's the Commons.
Do my absolute Eddie.
Nonsense. So, solidarity, Tracy, from a fellow actress.
Now, we'll tell you a bit more news in a minute, but first we're going to answer a couple of inquiries, because we've had an inquiry recently, and it's quite interesting. Somebody said to us, when you shop in second-hand shops like Cancer Research, for example, or British Heart Foundation,
oh yes,
because they test on animals,
yes,
are you promoting testing on animals? Right, now here's the rub. As ladies, we can't afford, nor would we want, to be buying brand new things all the time. So reduce, reuse, recycle is a big thing for us.
Absolutely.
And therefore finding second-hand garments is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
We like to think, because it is a fair question.
No, it's a fair question,
It's
an
a fair
interesting
question.
point to discuss, yeah.
We like to think that, because it's not all, some of the money that goes to the British Heart Foundation is to support people with heart disease.
Yeah.
Some of the money that goes to Cancer Research is to support people with cancer.
Yeah.
So we like to think that the money we spend in charity shops is going on that.
Mm-hmm.
And not on the bits that none of us really appreciate. But here's the thing. If we're going to ask those questions of people who do shop in second-hand shops, then let's throw a question out there to you. Do you shop in supermarkets? What with all that animal cruelty in there, with chunks of animal flesh on shelves and animal secretions in bottles and jars?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do it?
Yeah.
Because we have to.
Yeah, because there hasn't been a massive systemic change yet, has there?
And this is what it all boils down to. Let's not forget that being vegan is about not using animals in any way, shape or form as far as is practicable and possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very hard, isn't it?
But it was a good question.
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
Because it makes you question yourself, and it's like, well, I have to. Just like I have to go to the supermarket to get food now and again.
Yeah. You know,
I have to shop in second-hand shops, and I would rather the money I'm spending go to charity than, you know.
Yeah. And it's also, it's about that thing, is it? No matter where you spend your money, say there was, you know, a massive vegan supermarket. Let's not say a real one for now. And you spent your money in there, brilliant, all ethical, all above board, nothing to do with cruelty to animals, etc., etc. The money you spend there then, and I realise I'm being pedantic here, but I think it's worth saying, when you pass that money over, and then the supermarket people pass that money on, you have no way of tracing what happens to that money. So you can't say, my fiver has never contributed to animal cruelty, because who knows who it's going to pass to and what they're going to use it for.
Exactly.
You know, so as much as you can do,
as far as is practicable and possible.
Absolutely.
So,
lovely that.
We believe that you shouldn't be too bothered, particularly about, I think, probably the major funding that these organisations get from other places is what is their core funding.
Yeah.
And the bits that they get from second-hand shop sales and stuff.
Yeah, support services.
We like to think.
Yeah.
Support, front-facing services.
Yeah.
We've had another inquiry this week from a lovely lady who said, do you think it's gross?
Always a winner.
That I wash my tampons and use them again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Frankly.
I do.
Like she said before, what did you say?
Get a moon cup.
Get a moon cup.
Yeah. Why
Just
not
rinse
do
that bugger out and whack it back on.
Exactly.
Or, if you're that bothered about the cost of tampons, get some cotton wool and string and roll your own.
Yeah. Just leave a long enough string, you know.
I did it.
Yeah. We roll our own fags.
When I was running through Europe, I did from KGB with her shoved down my bra. I had no time to stop in boots.
She could be picking up box of Lillettes, could she? We'll weigh you down.
Exactly. I'd roll my own.
Well, then you can make them exactly to size as well, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, because oftentimes, you know, you'll either have to wedge or, you know, put a bit of gel on them and stuff. I used to do that with shoes that I couldn't get my feet into.
Did you?
Cover my foot in, because I'm a delicate 8 for a lady.
I'm a delicate 8 now.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, if you get like a 6 or a 7 that someone would give you, and I was like, I want this, so I'd cover my foot in gel, slide it in, and then deal with the problems later.
Really?
Yeah.
Bit like Ross and those leather pants on Friends.
My misspent youth.
Remember?
Yeah, I do.
First lotion, then talcum powder. It's created a paste.
We've all done it.
We have. So we're drinking our matcha again. Might become a tradition, this. Lovely little teapot.
Could that be a new phrase? Spill the matcha.
Oh, I like it.
Let's spill the matcha, girls. Spill that matcha. Oh, speaking of, a very cute thing that's happened this week.
Go on.
India.
Some cute news.
India is just about to release its first ever gay Bollywood film.
Really?
With a lead character who's fighting homophobia in India, and apparently it's a rom-com as well.
Amazing.
Isn't that lovely?
And I'll tell you what else has happened, I forgot.
Go on.
I'm sure it's in the last 2 weeks we've had the first gay wedding in Ireland.
Yes, we have. Them two lovely
girls.
ladies, yeah. Two. Do you know what I nearly said there? I read a book once about camels. and they were describing the camels, and it said, the camel, 2 fatty humps. And then when you said 2 lovely ladies, then I was like, 2 fatty humps. And that's not fair on them.
You need to calm down, young girl.
I do, like Taylor Swift. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
She did that song, You Need to Calm Down.
Oh, yeah.
Which was alright.
So we would love you to send us more of your problems that we can try and solve for you.
Yeah.
You know, in a kind of drag queen kind of way.
Errant lovers.
Really.
Recipes for macaroons. Sorry.
We've come up with a recipe this morning, haven't we?
We have actually. This is really exciting. I'm genuinely excited about this.
I am and all. We're going to try and do vegan Scotch eggs. Very soon.
Don't you miss them at parties?
Us too.
Yeah. Because they're filling out.
Or we might do vegan Scotch squares.
Squares is nice.
Because it might make it easier.
Well, I don't want Piers Morgan coming after me again and going, that's not a Scotch egg!
Wait.
I hate him so much. I've had to mute his name on Twitter.
I don't blame you though. He's an horrible man.
He's horrible.
He's a horrible man. He's not that far off Boris Johnson.
No, it's not.
There was a very, very interesting article. I'm not sure if it was in Lad Bible or it was in something.
Oh, yeah.
About a guy that had posted a tweet and basically someone had called him gay for using sunscreen.
Oh, yes.
And he said, imagine you're thinking you're tougher than the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But kin sun.
Yeah.
And then other guys all started posting the things that they'd been taught were gay or feminine. Like, you know, using moisturiser.
Well, there was some ridiculous ones, weren't there?
In fact, it was so interesting. I'll put the link down there.
Yeah.
I'll put the link down there in the... Just have a look. Yeah, it kind of goes what we've been saying throughout a couple of these episodes about toxic masculinity and white male privilege.
Yeah.
It all walks hand in hand.
Indeed.
With this kind of mind think.
Yeah. It's so bad. The BBC have a sort of offshoot called BBC Social.
Oh yeah.
Where they'll post things about, you know, folks like in small towns or things they're doing, just interesting activities.
Yeah.
Anyway, a younger non-binary person had done a poem about going to the hairdressers and how it was quite difficult, which actually I have a friend who said similar things, who's also non-binary.
Right.
Just a bit in terms of, you know, not feeling necessarily comfortable in that environment. And they'd done this video on a course, you get your plebs. But one of them that really struck me, because it chimed in with what you've just said then, was, if you want to practice masculinity, you'll need to get tougher than this. And I was like, practice masculinity? What does that even mean?
What the hell are we becoming?
What?
I thought we would have advanced a bit by now as a...
It's depressing,
as a species.
isn't it?
We've become technologically quite advanced for a species.
Yeah.
But...
Too quick, some might say.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, when it comes to advancement of us as a species, how we treat each other, what we know to label as intrusive thoughts, don't speak out those quiet parts.
Yeah.
What we know we should share, what we do share, all of these things are all mixed and messed up. You know, you've got men thinking carrying an umbrella is gay.
Men thinking they won't wipe their own backside because they don't want to touch a bottom.
A woman wrote that one of her friend's ex-boyfriends, oh, it might have been her ex-boyfriend,
Maybe.
wouldn't wipe his own bum or hold his penis whilst having a wee because it was gay. This is the world we're living in, guys.
I wouldn't hold a penis while I'm having a wee, but that's because I have really good aim. But that's not the point. And I don't have one, being a woman. But it's just depressing.
Did you just thrust your shoulder forward?
Thrust my shoulder forward. That was for the boys.
Oh.
Oh, what?
My white hand, it might help with white balance.
White hand. I'm a Caucasian woman, what do you want from me?
What do you want from me?
We look like Melon.
What do you want from me?
Tay.
I love that song.
I do, I love it, we should do that.
Take or leave us, only please believe us. We're never gonna be heterosexual.
Sexual. Sorry.
Um,
Yeah, that were a lot, wasn't it?
yeah, the last 2 weeks have been tough. This is why we're like we are today. It's like, how can we leave you with some joy when there's very little joy about?
Little joy. What we can do, well, there's not, but what we can do maybe is spread a little, you know, just to pick up on how we opened with our tribute to lovely Caroline.
Yes. About the hashtag.
Yes.
So there's a new hashtag going around now. Hashtag be kind. Now, let's not take that out of context, because that doesn't mean be kind to everybody.
Yeah.
You're not expected to be kind to arseholes.
Yeah.
You're not expected to be kind to people who are not kind to you.
Yeah.
You know, you can react in a negative way if you've been treated negatively or spoken to negatively. It just means, by and large, be kind.
Yeah. Don't meet any issue you have by jumping straight to insult about characteristic of this person.
Yes. Because that's where we're all falling down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get it. It almost feels you have to unpick that, don't you?
Yes.
And go, even in your own head, you have to go, no, that's not fair. That's not why I'm angry.
Yeah.
Because somebody's got a big nose. Or because somebody's, you know what I mean? That sort of thing.
And also, get this, that's not a reason for revering or voting for somebody either. Popularism. Listen to the words people say.
Yes.
Very carefully. Judge them on that. Not whether you think they're better dressed or fit or have a nice haircut or, oh, I just like him. That's all
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Irrelevancy.
Listen to what somebody says. This is why I'm still bitter about Corbyn.
Yeah, no, same. Lovely
honest
man.
with
I
you.
will not. I don't care what anyone says. I loved him, and I still do. And you know why? Because when he didn't win, did he take his bat and ball home and say, "I'm not playing anymore"? No, he went right back into working, and that shows me you mean it.
Oh, yeah,
You
absolutely.
put your money where your mouth is.
He meant every word. He's a very genuine fella, much like Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
In America. Hey, Elizabeth Warren. You'll be seeing this in a couple of days. So last night, Wednesday, they had yet another debate. I can't remember where it was.
Nevada.
Oh, was it Nevada?
Got a little top up.
She was brilliant. She ripped that fella. What's he called?
Bloomberg.
Blue.
The mayor. Former mayor.
He's just basically a rich man who spent millions of pounds on ads and somehow got into the debates. But Elizabeth Warren said, I don't want to exchange one tyrannical billionaire for another one. Trying to get rid of Trump.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He's, to the Democrats, what blue Labour is to Labour. You know, the little offshoots?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Labour is never blue. So as far as I'm concerned, you're not Labour, and I won't be voting for anybody you put forward as a candidate.
Anyway.
You what, love?
Has it got my face there?
Yeah.
It's got a square around your face. Have I got one?
Yeah. It's just because your wig's bigger. I mean, your hair.
Don't be dissing me hair, love.
No, it's lovely.
Right.
Yeah, anyway.
So that we don't have to pop over. Shall we end it here?
Let's end it here.
Etc.
I'm off, mate.
We want to thank you very much for watching and let you know we'll be back with you in a fortnight. Until then, be excellent to yourselves and each other. Be